Welcome to Comic Power. I am your host, Comic Killer 72. Today we're going to do a special report about all the superhero movies that are dropping for 2018. There's going to be 9 of them, and it's going to be one of the most loaded years in comic book movies ever. I'm going to give to you the dates that they come out, as well as my prediction of what it will clear at the box office worldwide. If you're a superhero movie fan, this is going to be a year like none other. The studios are getting better at presenting material that's pretty faithful to the comic book origin, but doesn't go over the head of casual viewers. With the money that a good comic book movie can generate, the studios have an incentive to make them good, because when they're good, they make more money. You'd think that'd be common sense, but in Hollywood, common sense is not too common. Before we get started, let's address New Mutants, which was supposed to come out in 2018, but it's been pushed back to February 22nd, 2019. That's probably for the better, so they can get it right. The property and the characters overall are not very well known. The lead character is going to be a mutant named Magic. She's best known for that oversized sword, and she's the younger sister of Colossus. She's going to be played by Anya Taylor-Joy, best known for the movie Split, and it's a terrific choice. The X-Verse universe characters still belong to Fox, so if they want to push this back to February and get it right, that's a good idea. So let's go ahead and get into the movies that are dropping for 2018. February 16th, 2018. Black Panther from Marvel Studios makes its debut, and it's going to kick off 2018 with a bang. It was supposed to come out in summer of 2017, but they pushed it back to make room for Spider-Man Homecoming. But it worked out because they get to drop this movie in Black History Month, which is very appropriate. I made this video on Black Panther's Friday debut, and to say this is highly anticipated is an understatement. There are some inner city schools that raise money to make sure that all their students are able to see this movie. So it's a huge source of black pride, as you might imagine, but this movie is for everyone. We're going to get a political action sci-fi superhero movie all together in the new exotic, technologically advanced country of Wakanda. It's very early, but the Rotten Tomatoes score on this for the critics is 98%. The tracking on this is ridiculous. It would not surprise me if it had an opening weekend of $180 million. My prediction for this movie at the end of its run is it's going to make $1.1 billion. May 4th, 2018. That's going to be the debut of Avengers Infinity War, also from Marvel Studios, and they're not playing around. This is going to be Marvel's 19th movie, and the accumulation of all 18 previous movies are what builds up to this. They're going to take on Thanos as he assembles the Infinity Gauntlet with the Infinity Stones. There's 6 Infinity Stones. We've seen 5 so far. There's 1 left. It must be in Wakanda because that's the last movie before the Infinity War, so that makes Black Panther that even more important. This is going to be sort of like Marvel's answer to The Empire Strikes Back, where the bad guys actually win. Expect to see some deaths of some major characters. I'll put a link in the description about which characters I think it will be in a previous video I made. When this is all said and done, I think that Thanos will be as popular as Darth Vader going forward in the future. We're going to get some great reveals in this movie, like the Avengers meeting the Guardians of the Galaxy for the first time. I can't wait to see Rocket Raccoon interact with the rest of the Avengers. This is going to be tremendous. This is what we all been waiting for. I predicted this movie is going to make $2.3 billion at the box office, making it the second highest grossing movie of all time behind Avatar, which made $2.7 billion. May 18th, 2018. Deadpool Part 2 from Fox Studios, and Fox is taking a big gamble by moving this movie up from June to May because it's going to come out just 2 weeks after Infinity War. But being that it's hard R and a raunchy action comedy, I think it's going to work as counter-programming to the Avengers because it's going to be so different. In addition, we're going to get some new characters like Josh Brolin playing Cable and Zazie Beetz playing Domino. We also got a tease that there may be the X-Force or Six-Pack introduced. Blonde Owl, Vanessa, Weasel, Negasonic, all those characters are coming back. They're going to up the ante on the crazy, up to 10. My prediction for the box office for this movie is going to be $900 million. And that's only because it doesn't play in China. It's too raunchy for the communist government to allow something like that to play there. June 15th, 2018. The Incredibles 2 from Pixar Studios, which is a division of Disney. And finally, after a 14-year hiatus, we're getting Part 2. I'm as happy as a pig in slop about this because The Incredibles Part 1 is tied with The Lion King as my favorite animated movie ever. And although it does not have a comic book origin, I consider it a superhero movie. But let's get serious. The Incredibles are giving us the best version of the Fantastic Four that Fox never gave us with those awful, awful, awful movies. 3 of the 4 power sets are the same as the Fantastic Four. Super strong, stretchy, invisibility with force fields. The only difference is the Johnny Storm character doesn't fly with fire. He flies with speed like Quicksilver. And Jack is just Franklin Richards, a mutant baby with immense power, which we don't completely understand the limits of yet. Sam Jackson is going to return as Frozone. Where is my super suit? And of course, Edna, the costume designer, is going to return. no capes. As you can see, I'm extremely excited about this movie. There were people that were kids when this movie came out. There are now adults that are going to take their own kids to see this. And it's going to make $1.2 billion at the box office, guaranteed. July 6, 2018. That's the debut of Ant-Man and the Wasp from Marvel Studios. Marvel must really feel confident about what they have here to give the July 4th weekend to such a campy character. But since DC is only giving us one movie this year, which I'll get to later, it opened it up to Marvel to do whatever the hell they wanted to do. This is going to be the first time that Marvel is going to let a female hero co-headline a movie title, by the way. Captain Marvel will be the first true headliner, but her movie doesn't come out to 2019. Thank you, Wonder Woman, for killing the myth that female-led superhero movies don't sell. Everything we've seen in advance looks very good. It's going to be just as funny or funnier than the first one. Evangeline Lilly gets a chance to upgrade to the Wasp in this. Her battle gear looks outstanding looking. There's going to be some new characters introduced, such as Laurence Fishburne, best known for playing Morpheus in The Matrix. I'll tell you more about his character at a future time. I think we're going to learn more about the microverse in this movie. It may be deemed important in future movies. The first Ant-Man movie in 2015 made $519 million. I think it's going to make about $550 million. I just don't see it as a mass appeal movie, and I don't see it as a multiple watch movie. I think Marvel makes these type of movies as a tilt of the hat over to the hardcore comic book readers that appreciate this type of stuff. October 5th, 2018. Venom from Sony Studios. This is not a Marvel movie. Remember that all the Spider-Man universe still belongs to Sony. They have a short-term deal to share Spider-Man for Homecoming and the Avengers, but Sony still has the green light to do whatever they want to do with the Spider-Man universe. And that, of course, includes Venom. Arguably, he may be the second most important villain in comics of all time behind the Joker. And this is probably needed so we can wash out that bad taste in our mouth when Topher Grace played Venom in that awful Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3 movie. They definitely have the right talent for this, with Tom Hardy playing the lead role of Venom and Ruben Fleischer directing. The information we got so far is that Spider-Man won't appear in the Venom movie, but Tom Holland will appear as Peter Parker in it. At the time I made this video, we had one teaser video, but it didn't show us what Venom will actually look like in the movie, but we did get this cool poster. I expect it to be a rated R horror movie, sort of like Alien or something like that. It appears to be, it's going to be a mashup between Lethal Protector and Agent Venom. I made a previous video about who I think may be the antagonist in this movie. I'll put a link in the description about that. It most likely won't play in China either, so I'm predicting a box office of around $750 million. November 2nd, 2018. That's going to be X-Men Dark Phoenix from Fox Studio. We already got a hint that the Jean Grey character played by Sophie Turner in the X-Men Apocalypse is going to get upgraded to the Phoenix and then therefore the Dark Phoenix. In the comics, she became Phoenix for the first time in X-Men 101, and the Dark Phoenix took over in issue 135 and she died in issue 137. Of course, no one really dies in comics. Superhero stories are like soap operas. They always find a way to bring back the popular people, even if they die. If you're casual fans, you don't know that much about the comics in terms of the source material, don't worry about it. I'll get you up to snuff later once we get closer to this movie dropping in the fall. The last X-Men movie made $543 million, which was a disappointment considering that Days of Future Past before that made $747. I think the subject matter is so important to the X-Men lore that people are going to come out in droves for this. I'm predicting this is going to make about $815 million. December 14th, 2018. That's going to be Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. It's going to be an animated superhero movie, and it's going to be a big platform for Miles Morales. I'll put a link in the description about where you can see the trailer. It's some of the best animation I think I've ever seen in my life. In the comic book source material, in the Ultimate Universe, young Miles Morales gets bitten by a genetically altered spider which was stolen by his uncle, the Prowler. He gets mentored by the Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and he takes over as Spider-Man after Peter Parker dies in battle. I expect for them to make some changes to the source material, and hopefully Sony is taking advice from Marvel on how to handle the character. The character of Miles is going to be voiced by Shameik Moore, who played the lead role in the movie Dope, which I would recommend as well. It's a great movie. They have a lot of work to do in terms of marketing to explain this to people, because there's some people that are casual viewers are going to wonder, why is Spider-Man a black guy? And the Spider-Verse is a very complicated backstory. The animated movies are usually half the production cost of a live action one, so there's not as much risk involved. Instead of being $150 million to make, they probably can do this for around about $75 million. But still a Spider-Man property, so people will show up just out of curiosity. In saying that, I expect for this to make about $550 million worldwide. I hope I'm wrong, but I think I'll be right. December 21st, 2018. Aquaman from Warner Brothers Studio. Finally, DC gets on the board. I'm sure you've been witnessing, like we all have, it's been real tough sledding for them in their superhero universe. The vision laid down by Zack Snyder didn't work. Ben Affleck, we don't even know if he's gonna be back as Batman. Only 2 of the 5 movies they released got the box office they were looking for. That's Wonder Woman and the Suicide Squad. And only 1 of the 5 movies got the critical acclaim they were looking for, coupled with the box office, and that's Wonder Woman alone. Compare that to Marvel that got critical acclaim on all 17 of their movies, and box office performance out of 16 of 17, all except for the Hulk, which underperformed. But as for DC, only releasing 1 movie this year is really telling about what's going on over there. They need time to course correct. They hired a new president of their film division for DC, which is Walter Hamada. I made a video describing what he's done. I'll put a link in the description. Jason Momoa will reprise his role as Aquaman. And I'm actually excited for this movie because James Wan is directing. DC gave him the choice of whatever character he wanted to direct anything, and he chose Aquaman, so that shows he had a vision for it. And I must say, Amber Heard looks fantastic in her outfit. She's going to be playing Mera. I definitely want to see more of what Atlantis looks like. Virtually all of it got cut out from Justice League for time purposes. I think we can expect a Game of Thrones scenario, but underwater. I really believe in James Wan. If he can save the Fast and the Furious, then he can work wonders with Aquaman. I agree on the time slot they gave to Aquaman. It gives DC more time to make sure this is right, and there'll be no competition in its genre at the time. My prediction is that it makes $805 million. Also in this report, I have to address some unpleasantness, and it's that the Teen Titans Go are getting an animated movie. I understand it's aimed at a younger audience, but I always thought it was a mediocre show. So technically, it's the 10th superhero movie, and it drops July 15th if you want to see it. I don't know why Warner Brothers is greenlighting this. I think it'll be lucky to make $50 million at the box office. Just say no. All right, folks, that's all the superhero movies for 2018 coming out. You're now seeing a crawl that's showing you all the superhero movies and the dates they're coming out as a reminder. Please let me know which movies are you most excited about to see this year. There's a lot of good variety here, and I think it will be the best overall year in superhero movies ever. You know the drill. Make sure you subscribe to this channel, give it a thumbs up, and share these videos on social media so others learn about comic power. Thank you for watching this video about the superhero movies dropping in 2018. It's going to be a very exciting year to come. Be sure to follow my blog at comicpower.net. On social media, follow me at facebook.com/comicpower.net and comicpower-universe.tumblr.com. And don't forget twitter.com/comicpowersub. I also sell comics on eBay at this link. This is Comic Killer 72 for Comic Power saying bye-bye. And don't forget to share this video, click on subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and tell everyone you know about this channel to help it grow. Thank you for your support.